women start going crazy. They actually think, because all penises are not created equal and they don't hold the same level of intensity. So if it's one hot like that, he has the energy, he knows how to work his hips, work his buttocks, and really twist her and bend her like she's a pretzel and give her the gratification she needs, she's going to be hooked and think that that's love, or a deeper root level. She's going to become sexually, mentally, and emotionally attached, especially when that man pull it back, won't give you the penis no more. Women will be all in the bed at night trying to sleep, tossing and turning, they dreaming about it. Lord have mercy, they wake up out their sleep because they dreamt the man done did this to somebody else.
Before I get started, share this video with at least 10 other people. This is some information that you most likely have never heard before in your entire life, and it can literally save you from the stuff that this lady is talking about. Share this with 10 people right now. This video has been going viral for the last 3 months, and it's important for me to finally do a video to let you ladies know what's actually going on inside of your bodies. And I bet you're like, how do you supposed to know about what's going on inside of a woman's body? Because it's not what's going on down here, it's about what's going on up here. And the thing that's going on has a lot to do with oxytocin and dopamine. Dopamine is usually the thing that drug addicts get when they get high, right? It comes from drugs. It comes from drinking. Y'all love y'all wine. It comes from eating. A lot of you emotionally eat. So that feeling you get when you eat a lot of food, that is dopamine. And yes, that is somewhat the same feeling drug addicts get when they consume drugs. What is oxytocin? Oxytocin, this is important, is a bonding hormone. It's about intimacy, it's about togetherness, it's about love, and it makes you feel safe. That's the key. Oxytocin makes you feel safe and secure. So what does all this have to do with penis power? It's simple. Rough sex or great sex, or that hitting the bottom sex, gives you dopamine, right? Significance of this is there are two types of women out here. Women who operate off of dopamine and women who operate off of oxytocin. Women who operate off of dopamine usually have dealt with a lot of traumatic experiences when they were young or in their recent past. As children, male and female, we get oxytocin from our parents and the people that love us, and we get dopamine by accomplishing or achieving something, getting more of something. And that is the normal neurological reasoning for these things, right? But what ends up happening is, if you don't get the feeling of security, if you don't get the feeling of somebody being proud of you or appreciating you for your accomplishments, your neurological hormones actually change meaning. So the point of all this is this. When you are at a point in your life as a woman where you have been let down so many times by your mother, your father, older people around you, and then you start dating and men have let you down, well, you get to the point where you don't care about this bonding oxytocin hormone anymore, and your brain kind of like just pushes it to the side. And what you end up doing in life is getting with dudes that help you cope with the deficit of oxytocin. I'll say it again. You end up using dopamine, food, drinking wine all the time, rough sex, to cope with your deficit of oxytocin. Because we all need love. We all need that feeling of safety. But when we are at a point where we just don't think we're ever going to get it, we have to cope with the fact that we don't think we're ever going to get it. And that first group of women, in a lot of cases, not all, are usually more masculine in certain ways. They don't need no man. They're independent. They focus on their accomplishments more than togetherness and family. And they want that dude to actually, so she can get her rush, right? The other women, and I'm not saying the other women don't like good sex, but they don't necessarily require good sex like the other women do, because they appreciate the togetherness. They appreciate the oxytocin rush that they get with intimacy, because they still have a need and want and appreciation for feeling safe. She is still out here in this world needing a man, needing togetherness. See, a masculine woman, she doesn't even have friends. She's that woman who's somewhat of a loner and doesn't get along with other women. But the oxytocin driven woman, no, she'll get around a woman for like 2 weeks and now they're besties. You know that type of woman, right? That's the uber feminine woman. She's still open to oxytocin. So with all that being said, she's not necessarily as addicted to the rough sex, the food all the time, the drinking wine all the time, because she isn't coping with a deficit of oxytocin, because the togetherness, the intimacy, the friendships, the man protecting her still gives her that oxytocin rush. So her body chemistry, her neurological chemistry is somewhat where it needs to be at. But the other woman, she needs all these other things. She's coping with the chemical imbalance. You ever heard of people having chemistry with each other? A woman who has a chemical imbalance and she's high dopamine driven and low oxytocin driven, she's going to see chemistry with a Pookie or a Ray Ray or a dude that could just come in here and smash and leave, because she don't even want him to stay. I want you to think about this. She doesn't even want him to stay. When she's done with him, she wants him to leave because she's not worrying about this oxytocin, right? But a woman who has a stable chemical balance, she sees chemistry with a man or friends that are as chemically balanced as she is, because they get oxytocin from each other. A man wants oxytocin from a woman. Some men are so dopamine driven because they've been traumatized and they don't care about togetherness, intimacy, or caring for somebody or having somebody care for them. So this is actually what's happening inside of your bodies. It's not necessarily happening down here. It's happening up here. The need for the dopamine rush, which is food, drinking, rough sex, or a lot of sex, versus the intimacy of sex, or the intimacy of somebody loving you and caring for you or thinking about you. Share this with everybody you know, because really nobody knows what's actually happening inside of their body, but is actually going on inside of their brain. And this information can actually help them, because the lady in the video said something about she's attached to the guy with the penis power, but what actually is going on, she's detached from the rest of the world who has let her down, where she's at a point where she doesn't think anybody can make her feel safe. So she's attached herself to the dopamine and is literally forgetting about the oxytocin, because oxytocin has let her down so many times where she don't even care about it anymore. So let me know what you guys think.